The future is offline. And I really am a big proponent of that. Social media now has been taken over by the elites fully. It occurred with Trump's signing of CISA in 2018, which basically allowed government and social media companies to become one. So we all need to be very, very honest about this, what's going on, and then figure out how, in the midst of that, how we navigate ourselves to build what we call a bottoms-up movement. And the ultimate is offline. A little flyer like this, we distributed 1,000 of these in 30 minutes down at one of the train stations. And it's very exciting because you're meeting people, and this is something, at least for now, they haven't shadow banned or censored. But what I want to talk about today is a theme that we educate people in our movement on Truth, Freedom, Health. The Truth, Freedom, and Health movement is a university. It's a community. It's a system of knowledge. It's technology. But fundamentally, it's the infrastructure that the world has needed for time immemorial to ensure that we, the slaves, the peasants, can shatter the swarm. If you want to know what the swarm is, there's a video I did on the swarm. It really explains who the elites are. And the only way to win Truth, Freedom, and Health for the 8 billion people on the planet, not for just for a few set of elites, is it comes down to you raising your consciousness. If we have enough people raise their consciousness to understand this left-right nonsensical dynamics, and even more powerfully, how the establishment has the obvious establishment, people like the Bushes and the Clintons, that's the easy part. The harder part is the not so obvious establishment. The not so obvious establishment there's a factory that the elites have that creates the not so obvious establishment. And this factory has been created over the last 100 years. Whenever they see people starting to embrace one of their own, someone like me, someone like you, one of their own leaders from bottoms up, who actually understands our suffering in deeds, not in words, they always create the fake leaders, what I call the fake idols, the fake heroes. And they have a factory that manufactures these people. Bernie Sanders in the United States on the left is one part of this factory. The guy's never worked a day in his life, but he mouths the words of, oh, he's going to fight for workers. AOC is another person. Mahatma Gandhi in India was one such person. Martin Luther King was one such person. Obama was one such person. And in the modern world, people like Trump on the right wing, or what I call Vivek the Snake. And the reason they're manufactured is overnight, these people get access to mainstream media coverage overnight, and they're shoved down the throat on people. But more importantly, the elites in this manufacturing facility that they have they're watching very carefully this video, the videos that we do, and the fact that our movement now, 500 million people in 2020 came to know about us. And then they started censoring us. They know about 500,000 people in the world have gone through our program in one form or the other. And our movement is the only force that stands between the elite's ability to manipulate people and us directly going to people. So this is a major danger for them, because we're not saying take up weapons. We're saying raise your consciousness. We do believe in the defense of people. We do believe in the Second Amendment. But ultimately, the real weapon is knowledge. And that knowledge is what we teach at Truth, Freedom, and Health. It took me 50 years of a lot of work to integrate political theory, to integrate engineering systems theory, to integrate Eastern scientific theory, and put all together. And what you find is that there are 9 principles that govern everything in the universe, your body, everything. And when you understand these 9 principles, you become a yogi, you become a guru, you become a master. You're not bowing down to other people. You have respect for other people's knowledge. We're at various levels of understanding, but you start to understand how unholy it is to look upward to think these people are going to help you. I've been exposing this guy called Booby F'n Kennedy, aka Robert Kennedy Jr. He comes from above, Trump, and so on, but particularly the not so obvious establishment. The reason I want to focus on Trump today is because many people were manipulated by Trump. Trump literally sits there and his team, and they are marketers. They watch what buzzwords people want to hear. Think about if you had a spy. Think about a big microphone that could be hanging from space, listening to every conversation on the planet. And by the way, that has occurred. It's not only a theory. And with that microphone, those in power are able to see trends in people's sentiments. They're able to literally see words that people are picking up on, like shatter the swarm, right? We will not comply. Very, very important slogans for Truth, Freedom, Health, in fact. And when they see these observations and the growing anger of people, they say, holy shit. There's this guy, Dr.SHIVA. There's a guy called John Medlar. There's a guy called Suresh. And these people independently are mobilizing people with very powerful scientific concepts that are exposing not only the left and right dialectic, but they're calling out the not so obvious establishment. In 2020, I led the movement against Fauci. I led the movement against lockdowns. I led the movement for medical freedom to explain to people how they can boost their immune system. It was I who discovered the fact that there's a backdoor portal into Twitter. All of this in 2020, 21. I probably got 2 hours hours sleep a night. And it was my efforts that exposed the fact the election systems in the United States are completely fucked up. Trump used my work to just raise money off of it. He's a scam artist. But Trump in 2020, what did he actually do? He promoted lockdowns. And then he said, oh, I couldn't do it. You coordinated with the states to do lockdowns. He never fired Fauci. His slogan was drain the swamp. Well, Fauci has been there since 1980. If you look at the graph on this curve here, you will see that curve, the red line on that curve is the life expectancy rate of the United States public. It is going downward, and that goes back to 1980. The gray line is the life expectancy of the rest of the industrialized nations. So since 1980, the U.S. life expectancy is going like this. Fauci's been in there forever. Democrat and Republican have contributed to the destruction of your biology. Let that sink in. So Trump was brought in, since elections are selections, don't think he wasn't also anointed. He wasn't also manufactured. He was brought in because people had enough of Obama and they needed a white guy to manipulate the white working class. So he spoke big, lock her up. Well, he didn't lock up Hillary. Drain the swamp. Nope, he didn't do that. And what he did do was to make sure Fauci stayed. He didn't fire him, who was the one who masterminded this. And more importantly, to all the Trump supporters, ooh, well, he couldn't fire Fauci. His hands were tied. Well, 12 hours before he left office, it is Trump who ensured that Fauci got a commendation award for Operation Warp Speed. It was Trump who ensured that Big Pharma, whose sales were going down, they were tanking. Because of his effort, pharmaceutical companies' revenues went like that. And in fact, he was paid by pharmaceutical companies for his inauguration. So first of all, go look at the facts. During his tenure as president in power, he did not fire Fauci. He was the one who was the COVID tyrant. He was the one who executed lockdowns. He did not do anything against vaccine mandates. He did nothing against mask mandates. And these are facts, unequivocal facts. That's what Donald fucking Trump did. And $16 trillion was lost by the U.S. economy. However, 600 billionaires, his friends, the swarm, made $2.3 trillion. His stupid son-in-law, basically an interest-free loan from the Saudis. So he did very well. So please understand that he was created to manipulate people because people are getting angry and angry and angry. He was created to bring people into not building a bottoms-up movement, not getting on the ground and handing out flyers. But that's what our movement does. And in 2020, 500 million people saw my videos when we got the word out there. And this put fear into the heart of darkness of the swarm. So they threw me off Twitter because I exposed the backdoor portal to Twitter. And when they let me back on, they thought I would bow down to Elon Musk. And I didn't. We keep doing videos like this and they keep shadow banning us. But getting back to Trump, bottom line, Trump is a motherfucker. Okay? He's a D-list actor. He was brought in to manipulate you. And now they have another D-list actor, another motherfucker called Vivek the Snake. You see, this brown face, they had to psychologically manipulate people. So they found this other Brahmin brown face. I'm a non-Brahmin, which means I came bottoms up. I'm one of us. Brahmin in the sense of the upper caste, which is now global. So they found this fool, and overnight, out of this manufacturing facility, they're promoting him. He promotes Trump, Trump promotes him. You see two snakes. But bottom line is Trump was completely in compliance, completely complying with Big Pharma, completely complying with Fauci, completely complying with lockdowns while in power. You know who got locked up? His supporters got locked up. He didn't drain the swamp. He brought in John Bolton, who's a war hawk. He did everything that the elites wanted. He was a COVID tyrant. Now, what's disgusting is Trump actually thinks you are fucking stupid. He actually thinks he's such a great actor, which is what he wanted to be, by the way. Go look at his history, that you're a chump, that you can be abused, that he will do an acting show. And you will say, oh my God, Donald Trump, when he gets into office, he's going to fight all these mandates. And look at the video that he just put out. By the way, all of his people watch me. When I decided to run for president, first thing they did was contact me because they're trying to pick my brain. We have to build a bottoms up movement, and Donald fucking Trump, Vivek the Snake, all these GOP people, Bernie Sanders, Cornel West, all these people are part of the swarm. You can go look at my history and our movement's history. We get on the ground, we actually get shit done, and we win. John, play this video now for everyone of Trump talking about how he will not comply.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not let it happen. When I'm back in the White House, I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
Let's look at that nonsense. Did everyone hear that? I hope everyone heard that. This guy's a fucking actor. He's reading from a cue card. He was told what to say, and he's a fucking D-list actor. Remember, he wanted to be in Hollywood. That was an acting job. He is saying, when I'm back in office, I will use power to stop mask mandates, stop vaccine mandates. What did he do when he was in power? What did he do? Push vaccine mandates. He pushed mask mandates. And then all of his followers will say, oh, no, he couldn't do it. No, he coordinated with all the governors of all the states. He was wearing masks. He went and got the vaccine. He told people, this is a beautiful vaccine. I'm the father of the vaccine. Does everyone see what is just happened here? Let this sink in. This guy's a fucking actor, and he really thinks that he will be able to do this job, have some lights, put on some makeup, and talk this, and you will believe it. What fucking idiot will believe this after you look at the actual actions I just shared? The only fucking idiots who will believe this are people who have no dignity for themselves. And that is a people that he appeals to. It is like a person who gets beaten up in an abusive relationship, and the person comes and says, oh yeah, I'm sorry I beat you up 50 times, but here's some flowers. And you keep doing this over and over again. It's called a codependent relationship. And these people who run the intelligence agencies and psychological operations, they know how to do this. They victimize people into this abuse victim mentality. By the way, my credentials on Trump are this. I gave him an opportunity. I gave him money. I put up signs for him. But when I saw what he did, I had to do the dirty work of critiquing him. He is a mother. So if you're a MAGA cult member, understand that you're an abuse victim. Look at what he did and what he's saying right now. We will not comply. When he's back in power, he's going to do this. Why did he impose with all the states? He could have done that then. He could have done that in 2020 when he was leaving office, right? In 2020, he could have done this. In March of 2020. John, I want you to find the letter, okay, that I sent to Trump. And if you see this letter, you notice the date, March of 2020. The subject line of this letter is what? Immune and economic health for America. The first part of this letter says, look, you don't need to shut down the country. The second paragraph in the letter tells him that Fauci is full of shit. And I'm speaking as an MIT PhD, he's one of the leaders in the immune system. I educate in this letter to Trump that the immune system is a complex system and one size does not fit all. To demand that everyone gets the jab is nonsense. And I had just given a talk, an invited, honored lecture at the National Science Foundation. So I have all the credentials. Fauci doesn't. If anything he does know is how to work for Big Pharma, okay? And this letter goes on and says, look, do not shut down the economy. That underlined statement is very important. I educated millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people that when a virus comes into you or whatever the antigen is, that it is not that antigen that eats away at your body. It is your body's reaction to that antigen. Many people who have a fucked up immune system, their body overreacts. But if you have a strong immune system like good shock absorbers, your body takes it and it heals it. So then I gave Trump a protocol. I said, number one, all the people who truly have COVID, which is a very small percentage of people, fine, quarantine them. But the rest of us, varying stages, support people with vitamin D, vitamin A, which is, by the way, you get out in the sun, not doing lockdowns. And it was a whole protocol. It's all laid out. Well, who the fuck did he listen to? Did he listen to an advisor like me? No, he listened to Fauci because Trump has no fucking balls. He's not this big, strong man. He's a pussy. And in fact, I had a friend of mine, a Cuban woman who worked with him, and she was in a meeting and she goes, you know, Trump is a pussy. He's a fucking pussy. He just wants to be accepted by everyone. That's what Trump really is. That's his psychology. He's not a fighter. He's not a warrior. He's not one of us. He wanted to be an actor. So that's the letter. That's what our movement did. We put out flyers. We did demonstrations and we saved millions and millions of people's lives with our protocol. He killed people. Him and Booby F'n Kennedy, another scumbag, Robert Kennedy, who claims that he was fighting for them, was promoting lockdowns. Lockdowns killed people. Lockdowns lost the economy $16 trillion. And this letter was right there. Black and white. Who's the leader, ladies and gentlemen? Me or this guy with a fucking golden plated toilet seat? Who's the fucking leader? Who should be the next president of the United States? Who's one of us? Him or I? There's no choice. I'm the most qualified candidate. However, because I'm not in the swarm, because I truly represent you, they will make us invisible, which is okay. Because the more they make us invisible, that's why you guys are here today. Ask yourself, if you want to believe in these swarm characters, what does that say about you? And self-reflect on that. But recognize that you don't have to settle for the lesser of two evils. Go to Shiva for President. Get that bumper sticker. You have to set the highest standards for your children. Don't be a scumbag to your own children. Their lifespan is going to be shorter than yours. What kind of parent are you if you are selling them the lesser of two evils? That's what got us here. But you have a real fighter here, and we have a real movement. So it's up to you to get off your butt, have the cognitive dissonance you need to go through from what I've shared, but get over it, go to Truth, Freedom, and Health, become a warrior scholar, support our movement, become a volunteer. Thank you, everyone. Be the light. Next time, you guys should sign up, but you're missing the opportunity to meet some incredible people. So come to our town hall, truthfreedomhealth.com, shivaforpresident.com.